Jeremy, can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, that.
How's it going, Jeremy?
Hey,
Look at that
just
hat.
enjoying freedom.
Enjoying do you have a tilt and load trailer, or do you have ramps of oppression?
A what in load trailer? Oh,
And
yeah. I got a tilter. Yep.
so you don't have any ramps.
I got a couple trailers with ramps too.
Oh, ramps of
I do
oppression.
like that tilter is nice.
Andy has all tilt and load trailers because he says the ramps are too oppressive. There's
Well,
no.
he doesn't have any big trailers though.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're enjoying your freedom down there.
Yeah, just living it up, man.
We were just.
It's spring here. Spring is sprung.
Oh.
You guys got what, 2.5 more months of winter?
That's
We
what the
barely have
groundhog
winter.
said.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
Not up here, man. It hasn't snowed at all.
Yeah.
It's been
But
brutal.
it's still too cold to work.
It's too warm for me to work. That's my
It's
problem.
too warm for you?
Well, so it doesn't snow, so we're not hauling any snow, which is just absolutely crushing our business. And then I have dirt jobs, but I can't get to the dirt because it's +6, which I don't know what that converts to for your Jeremy. I'm not 100% sure.
That's
But
like
Sounds like
38.
50 degrees, 40.
So
Plus
it's all mud, so we can't get the trucks to the pile to load them, and then we can't get them to the back of the dump to dump them. So it's like it either needs to be cold, even if it's cold and not snowing, it's okay. But being like semi-warm and not snowing is like the worst combination I could possibly have going for me right now. But I'm inspired by your spring is sprung.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just move south. But it's still a pain in the ass here too. It's frosty in the morning, and then about 10 o'clock it melts, and you're in the mud the rest of the day. But
Yeah.
it's warm enough to get something done.
Yeah.
Jeremy, where'd you get the hat?
It's a Sterling Lighting sent it to me. It says "Make lighting great again."
Nice. Nice.
And we should say that we're joined by Jeremy of J Squared Outdoor. Just to get that.
A real podcast would have already said that.
Yeah, I think so.
Someone that was organized would have, Caleb or Andy would have already said that. Like, we are not.
Yeah,
We are not that organized. So we were just discussing before you came on that, love him or hate him, Trump has killer political ads.
Yeah, on ads, I haven't really seen any.
Oh, okay. I think some
Yeah, we
reason
haven't
they come.
either.
Are
Some
they
reason-
good? I heard he had some cool tennis shoes coming out, but that's all I
We
know.
were just talking about that too. Well, for some reason, his ads are constantly in my feed. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but they're
Well, you're
constantly.
definitely not going to vote for him.
Well, I think you can. I don't think you have rules for
Oh,
voting
yeah.
down there
There's
anymore.
There's no voter ID.
You got to come up through Texas, and then you can vote for him, I guess.
The northern. I just went to the States to Erie because I'm trying to convince my daughter to play soccer at a university in the States so she can hopefully just start living there and not come back to oppression Canada. And like the northern border, I can tell you it's a bitch to get through. It's not easy to get like from the northern side, it ain't easy to get south.
See, they let me through. They don't like it when I come back.
Well, look at
They never give me problems going through. They say, welcome to America. On the way back, it's always grief. What did you buy? How long were you there? Open the trunk.
They give
Let
me
me see the receipts.
Making sure you didn't bring any freedom back.
Yeah. Smuggle a couple cans of freedom back up here. Or
So-
a fucking newspaper.
in general, they give me a hard time, but in their defense, they did catch me smuggling a lot of cigarettes when I was a kid. So, I mean, like, do they give me a hard time? Absolutely, they do. But the truth of the matter is, they did catch me smuggling an entire trunk full of carton of cigarettes. So, that did happen when I was 16, 17. I am 50 now, but the government don't forget, baby.
Whatever you smuggled them from America back to Canada,
Yes, yeah, because there's
so
no
they're cheaper here.
So this is when I was 16, so I don't know, that's like 35 years ago. Or 33 years ago, maybe. I don't know. It's a long time ago. So back then, buying a carton say in the States was like $15 and buying one at home was $40. So if you drove down and you brought back enough cartons, that made it worthwhile. And I did it a few times and I never got caught with like 5 cartons, 6 cartons. And then I thought, oh, I'll just spend all my money on it. And it worked out. I think it was like 28, 29 cartons. I, of course, that time got busted because that's the way life goes. And then I found out if I'd had like 30 cartons, it was like a federal charge. And I would have gone to jail. It's like, holy shit. They're like, man, that worked out great for you. You must have read the laws. I'm like, nah, it's just dumb, stupid luck that I only had that many. If I'd had more money, I would have bought more cartons. So yeah, it was a money-making scheme that didn't pan out for me. Much like having a landscaping company.
That sounds about right.
The same.
I think this is only the second time we've ever had a guest who has a tilt rotator. We're even
really?
right now. There's 2 non-tilt rotator guys and 2 tilt rotator guys.
Yeah.
So even
Oh no, we had Mark from Green Monster on. So Mark, we've only had tilt rotator guests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, except for the coaching calls, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I did really like you posted the other day the rock bucket that you had, and you were picking up the like the
skeleton
blocks.
bucket.
Whatever.
Yeah, just scooping up pavers, old pavers.
Yeah, that was sick. That was like, I have to admit, I've become kind of like unfazed by tilt rotator videos in general anymore. But that one caught my eye. I was like, man, that bucket is fucking cool. That is really fucking sick, because even if you were scooping sod and shit, you could like get the dirt out and you're not cutting as much bulk. Like, it was just really sick bucket. I was like, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Never thought about it for sod, but we've been using it a bunch. We were doing riprap too, and just dumping the riprap in the mud, and then you can just, when you scoop it, you just shake it out, and then your riprap's back to clean again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at that. I was like, man, there's a lot of shit you could do with that. That's a fucking cool bucket.
Yeah.
Not that it inspired me. I'm at a point now where I don't know if I can buy a tilt rotator, because people would just be so disappointed in me as a person. But although I have been, since I was a small child, the master of disappointing everyone around me. So maybe it would be okay. I don't know. Might be maybe if that bucket that you had, that actually inspired me to say maybe we should get one of these, because I just feel like we would use that all the time. It's so
You
cool.
can just put it on a regular excavator too. It still works the same.
It wouldn't spin though.
Wouldn't spin.
How about the spinning? That's true.
This is a good excuse for you to get a tilt rotator.
Yeah.
So you can get a skeleton bucket. I like it. I'll support it.
You'll support it. Yeah, I think it would be a good. I don't know. That one was really. I was like, man, that's fucking. I like those. Like, that's a cool bucket. Chad, you should get that bucket instead of the screening bucket for your 20-ton.
I don't know. I think they do different things. Like,
yeah, it's not the same.
Not quite the same. But I want to pull the trigger on that bucket, but apparently the retailer in Canada is dog shit. Like, they won't even help out whenever, like, if something goes wrong with your bucket, they're like long gone.
Wow.
These Alberta guys, they won't pick up the phone. So
what are you going to use that thing for?
So I got like 10 or 15,000 yards at my shop ready to be screened. But the problem is, if I screen it all at once, it's just going to go bad again. It's going to get clumpy. I can't use 15,000 yards in one season, right? So I figured we park it on top of the pile and just screen it as we go right into the truck. That's the plan.
And with the 20-ton excavator.
Yeah. So you can do a yard in a minute or so. It'll do 50 yards an hour, so which is good enough.
That sounds like
worth it.
Pretty good production.
Yeah, to leave someone at the yard and just let them screen all day or whatever, and then use what we need. But I don't know, still an expense.
The one we tried for the 9 or the 8-ton excavator was a little bit too slow.
Oh yeah,
I would say. It just it wasn't that the thing was slow. It would take 20 minutes to fill up a single axle truck. It's just too slow.
Yeah, that's too slow.
It didn't make any sense to I'd rather just buy it and not pay a guy to sit there and screen and put hours on the machine.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. If it's no good, I mean, someone's gonna want it somewhere, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Even if I lose, it wouldn't be the first time I lost money buying shit or trying to sell shit.
Well, I think on a bigger excavator it might be, especially if it's just a yard machine, you could probably make it work.
Yeah. The 20 ton's sitting there anyway, so it's not like it goes out on a landscape job all that often. So
Yeah.
The thing about it is, I guess that you'll be able to like, if you got a screening plant in and screened all 15,000 yards, by the time you get to some of it, it's going to be junk.
yeah, it's gonna be back to clumpy.
Yeah, you
No
gotta.
good.
Yeah, either
Guys
that or you
pissed
gotta have a
off.
big old barn.
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
a big enough structure for that. So
So that's why so the people in Alberta don't give a fuck about you.
apparently not. No.
No, that's because they got freedom in Alberta.
Yeah. But
They
they
don't
have
want to deal
freedom in
with you.
Ohio too, and I think that's the other company that sells those buckets, but they won't ship to Canada.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, AD seems like a really good company
yeah,
to deal with.
they're like, "Oh, give us a call if you have any questions and stuff." I'm like, "Wow, up here they don't even give a shit. Like they don't want to sell it to you." So
Maybe you
we'll
should
see.
inquire about starting a dealership.
In Ontario,
Yeah,
I thought about
be
like,
the distributor of the buckets.
yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I tried to retail Chinese excavators, didn't go all that well. So I don't think I'm gonna try to
No,
retail anything else.
we haven't. We
I
legit
think you
haven't.
need a shipping crate from Sweden and just get a whole crate of them.
Yeah, maybe I
Oh,
should.
they come right from Sweden? Is that where they come from?
I think
I thought
so.
I don't know where they come from.
What kind are you talking about, Jeremy?
Uh,
Um, the Rotostar, I think,
yeah,
is
that's
what
the
it
same one.
is, and
Yeah,
everybody just rebrands it to whatever they're.
whatever they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Huh,
sure they're Swedish.
really? Is that where you
Yeah,
guys
all the
went?
cool stuff comes out of Sweden.
You guys went to Sweden, right?
Yeah,
That's where you went? Yeah, okay.
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
it was like a Danish country with blonde women, but I just couldn't remember which one. Or what do they call it? A Nordic country.
A
That's a
Nordic country.
Yeah,
Danish
yeah.
is actually just
Yeah.
referring to an exact country. So we'll go with Nordic country. Um,
What did you eat there, Jeremy?
Oh, I ate all kinds of weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, and the best thing, I sat next to Andy every time we went out to dinner because he'll just eat French fries and chicken nuggets, and all the cool food he just handed over to me. So I got, and all the plates were like that big anyway, so I got double.
And he's eating like a child.
We had all kinds of stuff, moose, all kinds of weird fish, blood bread. That was a wild one. Uh, there's all kinds of crazy food. It was fun.
that
That's
looked like
neat.
a super fun trip.
It was. Yeah, it was really nice.
Are they more efficient out there than they are here? Than we are here?
I
Like
think
just as
so.
a
Yeah,
as a
it's the future.
civilization out there, it's really. Hmm. I
They take construction like super seriously. Like every move they make is like really thought out.
oh fuck.
It's pretty cool. It's like going to the future in construction.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is that why you decided to buy the McCallick?
No, that's a French thing. It's a
Yeah, I
Mechalak,
suppose
I
it's
think.
European still, right? Like it's still
Uh-huh.
it's European. They're
Yeah, they're
fairly
also
close, I
over there in
suppose.
the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
French in the future. Hmm. How's that thing
So
run?
yeah,
It runs it's pretty badass. I mean it's fast. It's a 75 horse 6 ton excavator. So it's got some balls and it tracks as fast as a skid steer.
Oh, really?
So just tracking around the job site, especially with, swapping out attachments and grabbing the forks and moving pallets and stuff like that. It works pretty great.
would you buy it
It's a cool
again?
machine. What's that?
Would you buy it again? I know when you bought it, it was like something new, right? Like I remember the
Yeah.
posts about it, and it was, I'm going to try this thing out. And would you buy it again?
I think so. Yeah. It's so like, there's pros and cons to it. It's a little bit bigger machine than like comparing it to like a KX57. But it's got a ton of power. Like on the jobs we're doing, we a lot of times we don't have to use a skid steer, so we could just bring that. It's really, really strong. It'll lift as much weight as our 8 ton if you keep it close into the machine. Um, I like it. The only thing that's weird about it is digging. Like grading and digging is just odd, and it takes a little bit to get used to using that foot pedal. But other than that,
Hmm.
it's pretty sweet. So I still like a regular excavator, but that thing's pretty handy.
That's cool. Oh yeah, because I've never like I mean I've seen them before. I just never knew anyone that actually had one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it seems like a unique concept. Like it would be.
it's
Yeah,
awesome.
you
It
can't buy one
it
here.
it took me longer to get used to that thing and using the foot pedal and the way that the boom configuration is and how it works than it took me to get used to using the Encon that tells you anything.
Hmm.
So it's just a weird machine. Just everything on it works a little bit different.
Well, it's from France. Like
Yeah,
a tenth of our
but
country
it's
is French.
solid.
We can tell you
Like
that it's a bit different.
yeah,
It's
pretty much.
from as just on that. Like, so my daughter's looking at universities, and some of them are like in Canada, and she was looking at some in Quebec. And I said, if you go to university in Quebec, you can fucking pay for it yourself. We will not be paying for any education that takes place in Quebec. That was our. I was like, I don't want to have to like, anyways. So it was, yeah, I could see how it would be a bit different. Now we're gonna get a
Do
ton of
the
from people from Quebec. Fuck.
do the French people not like the English speaking, or is it the opposite, or is it just a
Uh,
mutual?
It's just,
the French people don't like the English people. I don't mind. My family's French, so
yeah, it doesn't.
No.
It's so one of the things that happened recently was if you're from Ontario and you want to go to a Quebec university, they treat you like a foreign student, and so they charge you like twice as much for tuition, even though you're Canadian, which is like bizarre. Yeah, it's totally so. In
Yeah.
the universities in Quebec right now are their enrollments down over 20% this year because
yeah.
people just don't want to pay the extra money. Like it's
Yeah, why would you?
yeah, it's well, that's why we were in the States trying to trying for her to maybe make soccer team down here in down in the States. So
Where's she looking in the States? What schools?
the five were from around Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The coach she got along with great was from Youngstown.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Ohio.
in Ohio. Yeah,
Nice.
that was one of
Yeah.
them. I don't remember the other four, but that coach she got along with, so we emailed him. But yeah, she's I'm trying to convince her like you could go down there and maybe meet someone and get married and get it. Well, you don't really need an immigration card anymore, but let's say you did. Um, and then she could just stay there with you guys involved in freedom. And then she could
Right.
wave at
And
us out
being
there.
warm.
And being warm. Yeah, like I'm like, fuck, you could like go somewhere where it's warm all the time. Why would you want to fucking come back here? That's bizarre. Choices of 16-year-olds. So he doesn't understand what it's like to have you have a chance to get out. I never had that
Yeah.
fucking chance. You have a chance to get out of here and be in a better place. Like fuck, go. But when you're 16, you don't understand oppression versus freedom.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
understand it. So
Jeremy, what do Americans think of Canadians?
You guys all seem nice. I don't have strong opinions.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's like, man, I can't stand those Canadians up there. You guys don't make a whole lot of noise. We hardly even know you're there.
Yeah, I can see that.
there's only 30 million of us. So
Yeah, it's
one.
it's a you're a good neighbor to have upstairs.
Yeah,
A good tenant.
Good tenant.
Doesn't make
Right.
any noise.
Let's take care of this land till we need it.
One
One day we're coming. One day we're coming for it. We'll let you know when. Like,
Right.
We'll let you know when we're coming. How's your guys' market where you are in terms of
Like as far as like jobs and stuff,
like
it
projects?
seems yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it got a little bit slow in the middle of last summer, like early last year, but it kind of picked back up in fall, and then this summer or this spring seems to be pretty good. So yeah, it just depends. I think if you got a good company, you got good amounts of work, but maybe some of guys that didn't have that great a company might have been falling down a little bit. It seems the interest rates are going down a little bit, so I think that's helping too. Like those middle jobs, like those kind of bread and butter, like $40,000 to $75,000 patio jobs, those kind of dried up last year quite a bit. It seemed like to me, and the bigger jobs are still going on though.
I was talking to Mike and I were at an event today. Chad couldn't be bothered to come because he's too good for us. It's also really far, but he uses that as a fucking excuse for everything.
Yeah.
Every event we go to, the guy's like, I live 5 hours away. I'm like, stop crying. I didn't tell you to fucking live in Cornwall. Like,
my margins are better. We discussed this.
I know. I was just discussing me moving to Cornwall. I'm going to pick up my trucks and my bins and everything. We're just going to go to fucking Cornwall. Yeah. So I was talking to a couple guys today, and Mike was there when we were talking about it. And we were talking about how for like the last 3 years, no one's had to hustle to get work. Like, you could just email out ridiculously stupid quotes and people would be like, yeah, go ahead. Please take this money. And I feel like maybe I've become like the last 3 or 4 months, I'm like, don't get out of bed. I used to just like bounce out of bed, be ready to fucking go. And the last 3 or 4 months, I've sort of been dogging it. And the 2 guys we were talking to, they were having the same experience. And the 3 of us concluded that maybe because it was just so fucking easy, we weren't motivated anymore. And there wasn't the same rush as being able to close that sale. So I'm sort of like looking forward to in the spring of like maybe beating some people and getting some jobs, and maybe I'll be more motivated or something. Like, I feel like on my part, I got just sort of lulled into this unmotivated blob, I guess, of not, I don't know. Do you guys find that all like those 3 years where you didn't have, like, I don't know what it was like where you are, Jimmy, like where we are, like I didn't have to do anything for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it was still hard. Like, I don't know. I still like lost jobs here and there, but it's always, it seems like you always have to hustle no matter how easy it is, I guess, or easy, like even 2020 and 21. I don't know. It's just, it's all work, I guess. But
Where are you based
yeah,
in?
it's definitely, last summer was definitely seemed a little bit harder. Like you had to really fight a little bit more.
Where are you based out of?
Dayton, Ohio.
So
South.
have you ever met the best landscaper in Ohio?
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an hour and a half west of beautiful Fairfield County.
Okay.
If that tells you anything.
So do you think that you and Caleb could take on the best landscaper in Ohio?
I thought Caleb was the best landscaper.
Oh no, we had the best landscaper in Ohio on our show.
Oh yeah, that kid. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Caleb would never come on this show. Come on.
What? He's not been on?
I'm just joking. No, he's never been on. No. We did have a feature for almost a year called Caleb's Corner, where we offered out some kind of actual value in honor of Caleb trying to be the most value-oriented account.
I'm aware. I'm a fan. I listen. Yeah. I've heard Caleb's Corner.
Okay. Yeah. He's never been on though.
Have you asked Caleb to come on?
We're saving Caleb for an in-person meeting.
Oh,
we got a lot to get through.
He's supposed to badger me. I'm supposed to be on his show, right. And he's supposed to badger me because when he had the kid from CMG on, he said that he doesn't have guests on that he'll badger unless they ask him to be badgered. So I asked him to badger me. He hasn't come through with it yet. I said, give me your best shot. Badger me, treat me like garbage, ask me horrible questions. Like, let's go for it. And he, we haven't put it together yet, but he has a busy winter. Like, you guys have a busy winter. So we asked Andy this when he was on, so we'll have to ask you. Are you intimidated that the Oppression Summit will one day take over from Hardscape Mastery and we will take all your clients?
I can't wait.
Like,
I'm really excited. Oh, am I intimidated? No.
Are you intimidated
I,
that one
I
day?
think I think you guys are offering a lot of low key value, and
Low key value.
I think yeah, it's just low.
You got to
key
dig a
value,
little
but
bit, but
it's
you'll
still
find
there.
it.
You act like you're not offering any value, but there's low key value here.
Yeah,
I'd sign up. I'll take your class.
the Oppression Summit. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
hold it at Chad's building a
Yeah.
carport with no sides on it. So we're gonna hold it
I'll
there.
bring you a whole trunk full of cigarettes.
But you go to the border.
They
What are
won't
the-
check my trunk.
The best part of the cigarette story is, have I ever talked about this before on this podcast? The
Yeah,
cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The best part of the cigarette story is that my dad used that license plate for like 5 more years, and he kept getting searched at the border. Come back every time and be like, oh fuck, like my fucking. I don't get why they rip the car apart every time I cross the border. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on. Fuck. Like, same license plate.
Jeremy, have you ever been to a Blue Jackets game?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you a Blue Jackets
I'm a
fan?
hockey player. I know you guys are big hockey guys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a couple
Yeah.
of your stories lacing them up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are
I
you a Blue
skate,
Jackets
yeah.
fan or?
Yeah, a little bit. Not. I don't really watch a whole lot. I've been watching lately because I found out I can watch hockey on Hulu. But I like that Bedard kid. That guy's pretty good.
Oh, you're
And
a Chicago fan.
McDavid. I like watching like specific players. I don't really have a team, I guess.
Gotcha.
But,
have you ever sat near the cannon?
no, I wasn't close to the cannon.
That
I walked
seems like it
behind
would.
it, like in the corridor.
Yeah, it seems like it would be super loud there.
Yeah, it's loud. It's a sweet little arena. It's a fun place to go.
Last
I
time I've been to a
recommend it.
Leaf game, I got kicked out.
What
Really?
for?
I can't fathom you getting kicked out of anywhere.
No,
No,
it was
what-
me and 3 buddies, and it was my buddy's companies that he worked for, seasons tickets, and there were 9 rows up, so they're like really good seats. And it was his favorite team, Detroit, against Toronto. And I guess we just got too rowdy because it's all suits like in Toronto. It's all like everybody want to be proper. Nobody was cheering around us, and we were just going nuts. And eventually, the usher came down and said, "You guys have to leave." And we said, "Why?" And then he brought a police officer and escorted us out the building.
No
Really?
warning?
Wow.
Like, hey, settle down a little
Yeah.
bit. Just,
we got
you're
2
out.
warnings,
We
but
got
Oh, okay. You skipped that part.
I guess I skipped that part. But
the truth comes out.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. 2 warnings.
we're just cheering. Like it wasn't that bad.
Are the Leafs games are pretty rowdy, aren't they?
No.
No, because it's all corporate season ticket holders, especially in
wow.
like the lower rows. So I guess we were just too much for the meetings that were going on.
Seasons like tickets at the Leaf. Like, well, I went to we went to the second round playoffs last year. Like, there's four of us in
Yeah.
it, and we sat against the wall at the top of the top of the arena. Like, this is as far back as you could go, and the tickets were $1,200 each. And, I mean, we were against the wall, and it was $1,200. Yeah, and of course, the people I'm with, one guy bought the tickets for the first round. One guy bought the tickets for the second round. They're like, "Yeah, you can buy the tickets for the third round." I'm like, "You fucking!" I was watching that game, going, "Man, I hope they win, but I kind of hope they don't, because like, what am I going to be in here? Like, $7,500 to go to the fucking game? Like, holy shit!"
Yeah, that's crazy.
The bottom rows of the Leafs are all just corporate tickets. They're not. Yeah, there's no.
Nice.
There's no actual fans down there. There's no one like,
Right.
half the bowl is empty for the game. They're all in the bar underneath the seats. There's a big bar
Really?
there. Yeah, they don't even. What position do you play? Are you a goalie?
No, I play usually. Well, I grew up playing winger. I play defense now, like just men's league. Usually, I just play D, just to keep the scoring low a little bit.
get the extra ice time because there's only 4.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
case
and
no one else wants to
that's
do
the
it.
real deal.
That's the real deal right there. Mike and
Yeah,
I are both goalies, so
yeah, I knew that.
I
Chad,
don't.
you don't? Do you play Chad?
No, never.
Dang,
I
man.
can barely skate.
Did you play
You
any
probably
sports as a
you
kid?
could probably skate in your backyard all winter long too, and
Yeah,
you
probably
don't
in
even
the pool
play.
that
What a
we. Yeah,
waste.
yeah. No, it's not for me. I used to ride motorcycles and skateboard and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but never organized sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey's fun. I love it.
We
So when
We
we come
went to
down, we'll go see a Blue Jackets game.
yeah, I'll rip some clappers at you guys.
sure. We'll bring our equipment. Bring our equipment down.
Yeah,
I
let's go.
I actually haven't played in. Last year I played. This year I didn't. My hip's like super fucked up, and last year I played. This year I didn't. So maybe next year I'm trying to do like a year of recovery and see if I don't play for a year. If I, although I'm adding a lot of gut by not doing anything, so the hip might be fixed, but then the gut will exist. So it's kind of a toss up. It's a hard. I'm not good at being in the middle, so I'm not a middle of the road guy. It
Yeah, well, I'm just American, so I won't shoot that hard.
yeah,
So you'll be all right.
that's not you got you now the American teams are on par. You know,
Yeah,
American goaltending is way better than Canadian goaltending.
that's true.
really.
I know. I
Oh
was
yeah,
looking at the projected Olympic goalies, and one of them was Jordan Binnington.
I know.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
we're screwed.
this guy, like, he can be the best goalie in the league for like a 5-game stretch, but I don't know if I want to pin the Olympic hopes on that guy. Like, I was like, wow, man, Canadian goaltending has gone down the shitter if that's like our guy, Jordan Binnington. Like, holy fuck, man. It, I think you guys, the other thing that, you guys have over us right now is your 2018 junior team managed to not gang rape women. So that's something too. Like, you guys can take that to the bank. Like the kids figured out how to go and play and not gang rape women because we couldn't figure that out as a country.
Jeez.
We couldn't figure out how to do that. Yeah, all those guys are off their teams now or whatever, and they're being, anyways, whatever. Like,
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the
Don't
state
know
of
anything
US,
about that.
I think the state of U.S. hockey is. Oh, yeah. Are you? So that's not. I guess it's probably not news in the U.S.
Yeah, it's news up here.
But yeah,
Here-
I don't know.
Here it's
I'm
big
not sure
news.
what that deal is.
The Flyers goalie is one of them, Carter Hart. He's
Oh, really?
and then there's 2 guys on the Devils, one guy on the Senators, I think. Anyways, whatever. It was something that
Oh,
happened.
so they're current NHL players, and
Yeah.
it's all coming out now. Like,
Yeah.
way later. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hockey Canada paid off $3.5 million
Ooh,
to keep it quiet, and then the cops arrest. Anyways, it's a whole shit show.
oh man,
But the U.S., I think you guys have better programs now.
really?
Yeah. You got
That's crazy.
it's like because we were just recently in the U.S. We went to the soccer dome or whatever where they were having the ID camp, and even the level of the sports facilities compared to here is ridiculous. Like, it's so much better in the U.S. Like, Paisley went to University of Western, which is a big university in Canada. It's like a full stop university, guys. Like, that's a big, well-known university, Western. They don't have a dome. Their soccer team practices outside in fucking February.
It's like 2 feet of snow, isn't it?
They shovel the field. They shovel the field.
crazy.
That's
and
the warm up. They got to shovel the field
Yeah.
first.
I have video of her because I made a video, and it's like January 8th, and we're in the fucking stadium at Western doing fucking soccer ID camps because they have no indoor facilities there. Like, this is not
That's crazy.
this is a big university. Like, this is a big time place. This isn't like some shithole place. Like, I was like,
Yeah, and it's Canada, man. It's cold.
it's fucking freezing. I'm standing in the stands watching her going, I said to her, if you get offered a spot here, you got to consider the fact that they practice outside. Like, that's fucked up.
That's the most miserable 4 years of your life.
Yeah, exactly. This is fucking crazy. But like
No
down
way.
in down this like we there was a hockey rink at the facility and I went in just to use the bath. It's fucking beautiful. One of the best laid out rinks I've ever been in my life. I was like, wow, fucking living in
Yeah, there's some
Erie.
pretty decent rinks. Now the big thing is like Florida. There's a bunch of good hockey down in Florida,
Hmm.
which is nuts.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
Arizona too.
well, Matthews, right? I guess he came from Arizona, so that's probably California has some teams too. I think like some players from there coming out. Non-traditional hockey markets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the snowbirds or something that are making it happen down there.
Interesting.
I think like when I was in college, I played like ACHA, which is like club level hockey. Like not it wasn't NCAA, but ACHA, and like the best teams in our ACHA were like South Florida. So these guys would go from like Detroit and Canada and stuff and go down there and play hockey and party and be warm and play hockey. It sounded like an
Be
awesome
warm.
time. It's like you guys are smart.
Smarter than us. So I guess you don't like. Do you guys get enough snow where you are to plow snow, or you don't do that, or
Yeah, we do, but like it just melts the next day, so it's not even. I don't. It hardly snows here. It used to snow a lot, but anymore it's just like we might get a couple like 3-inch storms, maybe a 6-incher here and there, but I don't see like any reason to get into that snow plowing business.
yeah, it's probably not too. It's probably as lucrative as it has been this year here. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, maybe you get the contracts that pay whether you do it or not. That would probably be good, but I have I have no interest in doing that stuff. I like to sleep and not go out in the middle of
like
the
to
night
sleep.
and have to wash salt off my trucks every 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
hate that.
How's the new building?
Yeah, it's coming along. We got plumbing roughed in yesterday. Gonna do some more under slab stuff this next week with electrical on a water line, and then we're ready to pour some concrete and start finishing off the interior. So it'll hopefully be in there by like May or June.
So are you going to move the whole shop there?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's our new shop property or shop facility. So yeah, it's I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful building.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
size? In Caleb tradition, what size is it?
It's like half the size of Caleb's, but
Okay.
it's 100 by 40 of warehouse space, and then 20 by 50 lean-to for office space. So a couple offices, a little break room, bathroom off to the side, and then that 100 by 40 will be fully open, but it's 18-foot ceiling in there. It's nice tall, and then I'm getting it all, getting the metal on the inside and everything,
Yeah.
so it'll be all finished off in the warehouse, which I'm excited about. Where we're
Nice.
at now is just dirty, nasty, dusty, and you can't keep it clean. And then now we have some yard space too, so we'll be able to keep the equipment out of the shop. I don't have to park it inside the shop and drag mud in every night. So hopefully we can keep it less dusty. That's the idea.
So you'll probably have like aggregate storage and such.
Yeah, yeah. We built our block bins already. We just got to pour the slab, but um, yeah, we'll have like uh 57s and nines and mulch and all that kind of stuff, river rock, and then a debris pile in there. And I'm pouring a big concrete slab, so my idea is like the concrete will extend out like 30 feet from the edge of the block pen. So like when the trucks and the Bobcat can spin on the concrete, you can clean it off real easy. You're not in that gravel right off the edge of it. So I think that'll be nice. Then the rest of the lot will just be gravel for now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So because you're on here with us, you have to tell at least one. You have to, at a minimum, for a 3-minute stretch, if you're going to come on this podcast, shit talk some kind of polysand and talk about some kind of polysand incident that happened. You don't need to have any specific
Only 3
manufacturer.
minutes.
Well, no, you are welcome. You are welcome to use up all your time on it, but there is a 3-minute minimum to shit talking polysand on this podcast. So
I hate polysand. I just hate all of it. I don't care what it is. It all sucks. I don't like it. I don't even use it anymore. I
what do
use
you?
that wet sand.
Yeah,
Yeah, that resin or whatever.
I literally every single job we won't do the paver unless we can use that wet sand. That's pretty much it. Unless it's like travertine, and there's really no joint anyways, because that stuff won't go in those joints very easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hate polysand. It's horrible. It's the worst product ever invented. It's the biggest scam in hardscape history.
You and I today.
That might be the episode title. Biggest scam in hardscape history.
Oh, that's gotta be the episode
title. That's great.
That's the fucking episode. Today we were at this event, Mike and I, and there was pads of paper from one of the polysand manufacturers, and on the bottom of it it said new formula now haze free. I'm like, isn't like fucking 1992? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's where you're at now. Like, the product is so fucked up. You're advertising something that was existing 10 years ago, supposedly, or that was a lie 10 years ago, and now it's true. I was like, wow. Like, I think you people just give us material. But I look at that shit and say, we did the same thing. Not last year, the year before we started, because I did a cost analysis. Don't tell anyone that I did that. And anyone who's listening, I didn't actually do that. But I did a cost analysis. And if one job, I know that sand is more expensive and it's more time consuming to put in, right? I know that.
Yeah.
But if one job fucked up on us, that's more expensive than using that sand on every job for the whole year.
Oh yeah.
Just having to go back to one fucked up job and redo it costs more than the increase of the other sand for the whole fucking year. Like it just
Yeah. And my stress level has decreased probably 50% from switching to wet sand. I mean, there's like there's two things that you get callbacks from when you do patios. It's the sand and it's the grass. So you do the wet sand and you never get a callback for that anymore, and then you just sod it and you don't get a callback for that. Those are the two things that we switched, and now we just never get callbacks anymore.
Yeah, I
knock on wood.
We have a one of the municipalities in our area where you're not allowed to dump anything on the road ever. They get super lit. So this started like 15 years ago. I started just telling every client, we're going to sod your whole fucking front lawn. And I just started including it, and it just made life so much easier. It was like all of a sudden I didn't get called back over the grass seed that didn't really take at the side of the house, or it just was like, okay, we're done with this bullshit. We're just going to sod the whole fucking front lawn. Because
that's what we do. We just trash the yard. Don't worry about it. We're going to sod the whole thing on our way out. And then it's super easy just to throw down sod. I mean, versus rolling out the mats, or even if you did like straw bales and then just blows all over the neighbor's yard and all over your nice patio, and then it rains and washes mud all over the place. It's just a nightmare. So it's for a couple $100, you can buy a pallet of sod and be done with it.
In terms of saying, like, when you make the decision to just say, I'm going to trash the sod and replace it, as opposed to trying to stay on the mats or go around, or how, like, the freedom to just go where you need to go and trash what you need to trash versus all the time you take trying to save $200 worth of sod. Like, how much more efficient do you think it makes you just to say, I don't give a fuck about $200 worth of sod. I'm just going to go for it.
Oh yeah. Those jobs where you have to go in and be all surgical and save the sod and all that kind of stuff, like you spend 2 or 3 times the amount of time dealing with that. It makes a huge difference in labor.
I agree. I think it's
definitely a better value for the client, and we just knock it out and get out of their hair and be done with it.
And every client loves new grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never sodded a front lawn in 35 years or sodded something where someone came to me and was like, "Man, I wish I had my old shitty grass."
Right.
Like
Yeah,
I
and then
wish
and the other thing is like when you're done with the job, it looks awesome. And you can take
yes.
pictures of it and you don't have to like
Yeah.
wait until the grass comes in 3 months later and then you come back and then the grass looks shitty because they didn't water it or fertilize it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's way better just to sod. Do the wet sand and sod it. And this can be Caleb's corner.
This is Jeremy's Caleb's corner is sod the fucking
Yeah.
shit and use the wet sand. And do you have a wet sand you prefer or
Oh shoot, why can't I think the name of it? What are my options?
No Storm, Nitro, Easy Joint, Romex.
we use
No, there's
Romex
another one.
we use Romex Ecofine. That's the one we use.
Okay. It's like shoot. It's a short no, what is it? SEK maybe? I can't think of it. Wetlock. Yeah, I think it's SEK, Wetlock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a little bit finer than the Nitro. So we did use the Nitro, but then we switched to this because it's finer, so it'll get into smaller joints easier.
That's why we started using two reasons. One was like the guy who owns our supply yard is like one of my best friends where we and I don't know if he had a lot of this shit or something or what the story was, but he was just on me about trying this Romex stuff. He was fucking on me every day. And then we tried it, and because it's finer, that's why it just went in nicer. It just like
Yeah.
was easier to get. It's this whole thing's a pain in the ass, but it went in nicer.
Do you still have
Yeah,
to
it
go
goes in
around
the
and
joints down easier.
do you still have to point all the joints with that other shit? Like I feel like nitro, you got to go around and point all your joints.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it
Yeah,
just doesn't look right.
I'm a big like advocate of that. Like we try to if we finished like sanding it in the afternoon, I want to make sure like that first thing the next morning it's like just hard enough, but it's not too
Yeah.
soft, and you can go around and tool it.
Yeah.
But what's nice is like if you do that, you can get the joint like perfectly at the chamfer on all the pavers, and it looks awesome. If you don't do that, it looks sloppy. And if you
Yeah.
wait too long to go do that, like it's been like a hot day and we forgot to do it, and like, oh crap, at the end of the day or whatever, like, oh, we'll do it in the morning, and you're out there just scrubbing that thing for like hours. It's so
Yeah.
miserable.
Yikes.
But yeah, you definitely got to tool it. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever comes up with a solution that's not washing shit in and not sand for these like will be a fucking multimillionaire.
Jeremy, at
Yeah.
one point, didn't you start doing jointing sand and then using a joint stabilizing sealer?
Yeah, I tried that too. That's kind of like there's some pavers that kind of need to breathe, it seems like, and it's just like it seems like all the situations for that are different, and that's the whole thing with like polysand too is you've got you remember the days of like watching the weather and making sure like oh man it's going to be just the right temperatures and then it's not going to rain till the next day like you get into all that and even worse with doing the joint stabilizing. So that we got over that real quick.
Gotcha.
I bought a whole pallet of like just regular sand that wasn't poly sand, just like regular joint sand. And we just took that out to the job today because we're using it to mix up with mortar because it's been sitting at my shop for like 3 years. So we're over that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. The wet sand's the way to go. Dealing with that was such a nightmare with poly sand. Like you'd be done with the job, but you couldn't finish it because of the poly sand. And we do all these jobs like up until Christmas, and then we come back in the spring after the nighttime, like around April or May, and then you got 10 jobs to go back and sand, and then people have been walking on them all winter long, so they're all dirty, nasty, and they all the pavers are tipped, so you got days of just lifting pavers and cleaning, and that was a nightmare.
Or
So
it's
being able to
fall and
finish
it's
off like,
wet and then the leaves fall into the cracks and
Ah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
miserable.
Yeah, we had the
Yeah.
same like with driveways. If we like, I just say to people in the fall, like, I'm not doing this because if I can't get the sand in, you can't park on your driveway for the whole fucking winter.
Right.
Like you can't drive on it. All this stuff's gonna shift. The sand is a vital part of the whatever you put in the joints is a vital part of this operation. So if I can't get it in, like I don't know, it was probably 5 years ago. We did this driveway that was Squadra, and it's like all these fans, like fish scales, and there's like 27,000 squadras in the driveway, and we're looking at it and it's like starting to snow and like the first week of November. And I'm like, motherfucker, like we can't leave this. Like we spent like, I don't know, $1,000 on propane, fucking drying 100 square feet of it and putting the sand in, and drying 100 square feet of it and putting the sand in.
Oh
And
man.
it worked. Like, I mean, well, the warranty's gone, so I don't even need to fucking knock on wood. I hopefully the guy sold the fucking house. Um, hey, that's the truth. At the completion of every job in the hardscaping world, when you finish every job, your greatest hope is a for sale sign the next day on the front fucking lawn.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
is the absolute dream of every hardscape contractor. You finish a job, you walk away, you get paid, everyone is happy as fuck, and then the next day that for sale sign goes clunk in the middle of the front fucking lawn. You
Yeah.
can't
I-
beat you,
And
you
then
can't
they
beat
shoot
that
you a
feeling.
text. They're like, "Man, my house sold in a day because of your beautiful work. You want to do the
Yeah.
next house?"
Yeah. That warranty is non-transferable, motherfuckers.
Yeah, baby.
Like, yeah, it's non-transferable. Like it, um, yeah, it just that driveway. I remember it just being like this epic. Like I was so worried. I had so much anxiety. I'm like, man, this was so much work to build this fucking driveway, and it's if we don't get it sanded, it's all going to be fucked. It just and to the credit of the sand, it actually worked there. So, although the rep came out and did it with us because I've been posting the driveway
So
on.
so he did it the right way, is what you're saying.
That's I
That's
know
why it
guys.
worked.
I know guys that have done it with the. He pre-compacted the stones. If you don't pre-compact, did you know if you don't pre-compact your stones, the poly sand will haze sometimes?
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you don't,
That-
if you don't,
I can see how that would happen.
yeah. Well, that's it's obvious. If you don't pre-compact, you're risking a heavy hazing session of the poly. Oh my god!
Right.
I remember
Oh,
when that
Lord.
shit first came out. Like when it very, very first came out, we would just slam it into patios and like fucking wet the shit out of it. No one read the instructions. And I honestly, so I actually had this debate with someone. I honestly don't remember anyone ever giving me a hard fucking time about it when the first 5-6 years we used it. It wasn't this big issue. And I was talking to someone and they said, when this shit became an issue? When the paver companies started making wide joints. If you're doing like a 4x8 Holland pad or driveway, the joints in the stone are so fucking small, no one even knows if the poly sand is in there. Never mind if it's working. Like
Yeah.
but once you start getting to the bigger, wider, like 1/4 inch or whatever it is, like that's when people started to get lit about the whole thing. And that like when we started getting pavers like here, a paver I would remember, and Chad probably would too, is like Permacon Trafalgar, which would have been like a Belgard paver probably in the States. Like that was the first one I remember with a wide joint that started to become a shit show for me. Again, it wasn't tumbled, and because like the tumbled pavers that we used to lay, there's no bumpers on them. You can't even get sand in the motherfucking things. So you're just like one bag does 3,000 square feet. Brush that shit around, like because if there's no bumper on it, you can't like. Other than when you tamp it, you can vibrate some into it, but there was no big space in any of the pavers, so it was never this big fucking issue it is now.
Yeah. That's
Mostly
for sure the case.
we should launch a campaign, bring back tiny, thin fucking joints on everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Let's bring back tumbled pavers.
yes. Do you know
Tumbled
why?
wet cast.
You know why that will never come back? Because it's a 2-stage process. So the companies will never promote it again. Because everything they make right now is a 1-stage in the machine on the skid. There's no way, like there's very little waste. There's not the tumbled paver thing. They're still beautiful if you lay them right today. Like they still look great, but no company's ever going to promote it again. It's never going to be on someone's front of their catalog because it's a two-stage process. I say that potentially having worked for a paver manufacturer. Potentially, maybe having worked for a paver manufacturer and possibly been in fucking meetings about it. I just no, that never happened. It's because it's two-stage process and there's so much crap to throw away. Like there's so much so it gets broken or like no one's ever going to promote it again. It's never going to be a thing. I think it looks sick. It still looks great.
And then you get like some of the manufacturers are like overly tumbled. And then the clients would be all pissed off, like, "Oh, these are chipped." I'm like, "It's tumbled." But oh man,
I guess that was a
those
whole
are the good old days.
I guess I hadn't really thought about that problem until you brought it up in a long time. These are too chipped. We would lay the patio, and then we would have people come home from work or wherever they were doing, and we would say, "Okay, just put tape on any that you don't like."
Oh,
before
that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it's better than sanding that bitch and then trying to pull them out later.
True.
If I got a choice.
Yeah. Oh,
because you can't even clean out the sand from in between that shit. That shit's like fucking compacted in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only good thing, well, I guess back then we were probably using concrete edging. Because we used concrete edging, then we went to plastic edging, then we went aluminum edging was the best, and now we're back to concrete edging. Which I actually do, other than that crazy hybrid edging, but you got to have a chain to test that shit. Anyways, I don't want to go down that train, but do you do a lot like the new pavers at the one I was at were small. Remember, Mike, where we were at Conperm? A lot of the new pavers were smaller now. Like maybe they're bringing that back.
Yeah, or different shapes, like those new like trapezoid, tall, long ones.
Yeah, they were weird shapes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to throw out all my suction equipment. We're going back to little.
No,
I only do big pavers.
Have you seen any of those weird trapezoid shaped ones?
Is it a trapezoid or what is that? No, it's like a triangle, but the top is cut off. So I don't know what shape that is. Triangle, but the top is cut off. So it's got four sides. It's just what shape is that? You guys see this? Come on.
I think it's a trapezoid. Yeah.
That was one of the new ones. You're right. Was weird shapes.
Yeah.
They have one
it's
now.
A trapezoid.
That's a trapezoid?
That's a trapezoid.
You were right, Mike.
I thought a trapezoid was like this.
You're smarter than you thought.
Can you see that? No,
it's blurred.
It's blurred as fuck.
Forget it.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so it's a trapezoid. Cool.
Trapezoid.
They had it as an like straight on one side though, and then angled on the other.
Yeah, it's kind of funky.
It's a funky, weird shape.
Yeah.
Is any of this stuff really better than the fucking like Keystone from 20 years ago, or like the Zenith brick? It's all the same shit. Just you're using different shapes this time.
Keystone fucking sucked.
Yeah, but so does Triangle Paver and all this other shit.
Well, I don't know. The Triangle ones.
The Keystone.
The Keystone one sucked ass because when the mold got old, it touches on so many sides.
Yeah.
So it was easy to get it all fucked up. Like you might have laid, I don't know how much you guys laid of it. I come from a generation where that was the fancy paver. So that was a good one. If you can afford the key lock in rustic red, you're in good fucking shape. People in the neighborhood, if you've got key lock in rustic red, people with a charcoal gray border, not a natural gray border, people know you're rich as fuck. That's the generation I come from. So that stuff, when the mold got old, it's like that little octagon plus the tab. It's touching on like 8 sides for every paver. So if one side is bowed, the whole thing gets fucked. It's the only thing I remember about it was this.
I don't claim to think they're great or anything. Like these days, we only relay them in the last 4 feet of someone's driveway where
Yeah.
they redid the fucking sidewalk and shit, and you're always cutting out the bottom fucking row and putting regular 4x8s anyway,
Yes.
right? But
Yeah.
so am I going to be doing the same thing with the fucking triangle paver in
Probably
10 years from now? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting where they're like, you could only make slabs. So, what's the biggest slab you guys have, Jeremy? Or the biggest slab that you regularly use?
Let's see. The Unilock one is like they made it massive. I mean, it might be close to actually like 24 by 36. It's ridiculous. But I don't remember who told me. Maybe the rep. They're going back to the smaller size. The
Again.
Techo
Wow.
Block one is like 19 by 32 ish. I think
Yeah.
that's the one we use a lot.
Is that a? Have you ever dropped one in a pool yet?
Not yet, man. I've slang them over some pools, but we always make sure that thing's full of gas before we go over the pool. It's sketchy.
Do you have a one of those jibs for your excavators?
Yeah. Well, yeah, on both. Yeah, we made jibs for each one. They're like maybe 10 or 12 feet long, something like that.
That's sick. I
That's
always love
awesome.
those
Yeah,
videos.
we do the whole patio without, I mean, yeah, you don't have to lift anything and just
What
have them and set them in place.
one of the things I always notice, like for all you guys in the States, is that we, like where I'm from, we don't have these like 1 acre lots or whatever. Like every house is like fucking squash, 36-inch access, trying to squeeze through. Like we don't have that big. Like that may exist somewhere in Canada. It
Where
doesn't.
I am.
Yeah, Cornwall's got that.
You have an MT though.
Yeah, just because the guys are less likely to hit shit with that than they would any full-size skid steer.
Yeah. Like the amount of places I go where we're 36-inch E20 and the 36-inch buggy are like the in and out. That's like you have that big buggy, Jeremy, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But it would literally never leave my yard.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's sick, but because we don't ever work anywhere that it would fit. Like
So
it's just
we only use that when we can't back a quad axle into the backyard. So that's really for tight access when we have to buggy it from the street.
yeah. When you have shitty access, you still have a 6-foot wide fucking buggy. Like
Yeah.
where we dug a pool last year with like the Toro buggies, the whatever they're like.
Yeah.
Wow.
We do that all people do that all the time. Like we haul a lot of dirt for people digging pools. Like that's just where we are, where we live. And I constantly watch like your videos and Andy's videos and Caleb's, and I'm like, where are these motherfuckers living? Like this place does not exist anywhere near me. Because even here in rural communities, we all live touching, and there's just a lot of land around the houses, outside the little touching houses. Like I don't remember that.
They put them together to keep you guys warm.
Probably, yeah. It's easier to oppress us in small groupings or something. I don't think legit we've done a backyard where we could get our T595 into the backyard in 4 years.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think
miserable.
so.
Wow.
It's just normal life here.
That's
It's
miserable.
I would bet like the jobs that I go on, I'm like, man, that's pretty good fucking access. You would go and like, I don't have any interest in doing this job. I'll see you later.
Right.
I think it's wild to me whenever you guys are doing all that, because like the jib boom that's on the excavator, if it was on an excavator where I work most of the time, it would be in the neighbor's yard laying pavers.
Right.
Like I need to. Hey, we're back because Mike's computer ran out of space mid. What were we talking about when that happened, Mike?
I don't
We
remember.
were slinging slabs in the neighbor's
Oh
yard.
yeah, we were putting the slabs in. Like seriously, where we work, like we would legit be. What's the smallest pool? Have you ever done a pool where you were limited to the size of the pool by the size of the yard? I don't remember
Negative.
ever. I don't remember
No,
ever seeing you do a job where you were like, "Hey,
no.
bro, your pool can only be 14 by 20." Like,
Yeah,
What?
no, that's generally not the case. The only sometimes the leach fields get us, but you
oh
know,
yeah, yeah, that's
that's
true.
the only thing that we contend with is they put the leach field too close to the house or something like that. But
Do you dig?
usually, I
Would you?
mean, there's I mean we have like city lots around here too. There's different neighborhoods. It's just I always end up for some reason in these good access jobs. I don't know why.
It's probably your marketing. Would
I
you?
guess
Would you dig a pool with the Milek?
the Michaelak, yeah.
Yeah. Have you dug a
I
pool
yeah,
with one?
it's no, I haven't.
But you would.
It digs. Yeah, it like digging power. It is super strong. I mean, like most 6 ton excavators, I think are like 40 horse or maybe 50 horse. That thing's 75 horsepower, and it just digs. And you can get that 3 piece boom on the action, and it really
Yeah.
it would dig fast.
Sick. Would
You could
what?
even use the skid steer bucket and cut it if you wanted to, just like a skid steer digging a pool.
What? How much does it cost, like percentage wise, more than a regular excavator?
Well, I think it's like the same price as like a Cat 306 or something
No,
pretty
we don't.
similar.
We
Really?
don't.
Because
We,
Cat's kind of ridiculous on their pricing, but I think it was
yes.
like I think that machine without the Encon and stuff is like 140 in American. So that's like what is that? Like a half a million Canadian,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
something
That's the price of my 8 ton.
like that.
The yeah,
Yeah,
How
yeah.
much was your
it's
18?
not. It's definitely more expensive than
I think I
but I
think
think
my
Cat like a Cat one is pretty close to that,
hmm,
or maybe that's a Cat 308. I don't know.
I know
It was not cheap.
my buddy's Cat 308. Mine it has a roto tilt on it, and I don't know where that's included, but it was like 210.
Yeah.
But it came
my
with the tilt rotator.
my 080 was a buck 50, and my tilt rotator was, I don't know, 45 or something. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
it's
sounds about right.
195 ish Canadian.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
mm,
they're expensive little boogers, but they're pretty cool.
we don't have like
I
service
think
for a mechanic down here. Like I feel like
yeah.
if shit starts to go wrong, no one around here would know how to fix that.
Brad would.
Yeah.
Brad would. And we don't have a Brad.
Yeah, you don't have a Brad. Brad's our yeah, he could fix it. I guarantee it. I guarantee 100% whatever breaks, Brad Wade can fix it. That's just who he is. He's just that guy. But whether he'd come to Cornwall to help you, I don't think that would happen because I
Yeah.
think he's also that guy. He's not coming to Cornwall. So do you have like a dealer for it?
Yeah, that I waited until like our dealer picked it up I don't know, last summer or early last year or whatever. And I think mine was like the first one that they sold, but it's a really big dealer in town. So they've got really good service. So I waited until they had it and before I bought one. So they'll take care of whatever goes wrong on it.
Have you had any
And
problems?
no, nothing yet. Yeah.
That's cool. I like when you have a couple videos where you have like the skid steer bucket on it, and you got like a whole skid steer bucket, and you're dumping it like a like an X. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty sick. That you're moving that much
Yeah.
more gravel, or
Yeah. It's kind of handy. Like there's a lot of situations where backfilling or loading up a truck or just where you don't want to spin around like a skid steer. You can still operate like a skid steer. It's pretty cool. And you
I
can load like really, really tall with it too. Like, so I can load big trucks with it real easily.
I I'll be the first to say that like when I first saw those things, I thought they were kind of goofy. Like
Yeah, I didn't like
I
them.
I'm being straight. Like when I first saw and when I saw you bought one, I was like, oh, those things are kind of goofy. But now that I've seen you physically using it on site, I'm like, man, that thing actually looks kind of handy. Looks like it does a
Yeah,
lot. It looks like it does a lot of shit. Like,
it does. And like tight access too. Like if you pick that bucket up and you can pick it like straight over your head, basically, and so you have a zero front swing and zero tail swing. So like you could be between two houses and be able to scoop in front of you, spin around, and dump it in a bobcat or whatever behind you. Which, if
Oh,
you think about most excavators, you have that the front. You're limited on your front swing. So
yeah, like if you're, I mean, we dig in between two houses a lot. So like you're either seriously, like you're either dragging it all backwards with you the whole length of between the houses
yeah,
because you can't get around to dump it into the bucket.
right,
Um,
yeah.
so I like what you're saying. That's sick. Like you could go straight
Yeah,
up.
those situations, it's really cool. And then also with that three-piece boom, you can get like under tree canopies and under power wires. You can control your height. I even like dug out inside of a low pole barn with it. And because you don't have to worry about the stick being up in the trusses or in tree canopies and stuff like that.
Yeah, the knuckle. Yeah, the top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's it's got a lot of like really wild uses. So it's a cool machine.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of goofy looking, and then since you've been posting it on Instagram, I'm like, man, that thing looks pretty sick. Like legit, it looks pretty cool. I
It'd be perfect for your tight access to run it. Although if
perfect.
you can't get a 595 and you can't get that in, it's about the same width, I think.
Yeah, no, we can't get a 595 in. If I go
Need
to
to
a
make a
corner,
mini Mechalak for you.
it's so
Hmm.
fucked up in our area. Sometimes I go to a corner lot and the fence posts aren't far enough apart to get the 595 in. Why is a fucking corner lot? Fucking put your posts like 8 feet apart, you dumb fucks. Why are they 5 feet apart? Like holy shit! Like it's mind boggling the limited access that people like every job has. I think that's whenever I watch anyone in the States, I'm always like, man, even like Landscapes by Dylan. I don't know if you follow him, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This motherfucker's in California. And every place
right.
he goes is like great access and he's got machine. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's in fucking isn't there no congestion there? Like everyone's it's like fucking guy is like still I'm like, man, like I just the amount of like I have a buddy that runs like 3 crews. He has like 4 MTs and 3 E20s and like because that's
Yeah,
what they use every day. That's what they
right,
take the job
right.
sites every day. Like that's just what they it's what they take. It's fucking crazy. I just whatever. Everything we do
Yeah,
is
no,
just
we have a mini setup, a little Kubota mini excavator and ditch witch and stuff, but and we use them quite a bit, but it depends. Most of the time we do have pretty good access. And like if we're doing like a smaller job and we don't want to mess up the yard, we use the small equipment. Um, but if, generally we're doing a bigger job of messing up whatever we need to.
I don't know. I was talking to one of our clients has I think 2 14 tons with tilt with roto tilts and a couple 8 tons with roto tilts and our 8 ton is a 2015. So I've been sort of like I don't know. I really want to put this roto tilt on a 2015 machine, but he was like, just if you get rid of the machine, just take the roto tilt off and move it to the next one or NCon or whatever you do it. Like it doesn't necessarily have to get sold with the machine was his take on it. He actually he replaces his excavators every 3 years, but keeps the tilt rotators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
When we were over in Sweden, some of those rotators that we were looking at, that were on machine still had like 20,000 hours on
Wow.
them. They had like no issues.
so would you keep yours
You
or
could
would you
totally do
sell yours with the machines?
that. I'd probably depends. I might keep it. Yeah, if I bought a new 8 ton today, I'd probably just keep it because the price has gone up on them. So probably be just as well to keep it, unless I could get like really good money out of it. I guess have to do a little cost benefit analysis there and see. I don't know.
Yeah, so because I was just talking because we subcontract work off him as well, and we float all his equipment for him, and it just I was like, oh, that would be maybe that's something we should consider doing. I don't know. It's like because I was just
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like it's a 2015. I'm like, I don't know, I really want to. I kind of inherited it though. Like I didn't really buy it. kind of took it.
Yeah.
So like it's a long story, but so maybe it would be. I was wondering if you would keep them or sell them, but there's ones with twenty
Yeah,
thousand dollars
I
on
wouldn't
them.
hesitate to do that. Honestly, Mike, I would do that. Is it a good machine? Like, is it
It
in
is.
good
It's a
shape?
real. Yeah, it's a really good machine.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, why not? I mean, excavators can last a long time, and there's no reason that. I mean, that's still
yeah, and
it'd be fine. You probably have that for another 10 years if you take care of it.
it has a new set of tracks and new undercarriage on it. So it's a
Yeah,
Kubota 8 ton. Um, so yeah,
yeah.
maybe we'll put one on then.
I think
I
you should.
well, I just want to try. Like my follower count sucks because I don't have one. So
Is
It'll
this the episode?
if there's nothing else, it'll help with that.
I'm also gonna start hanging around with pool people because a flying pool with a tilt rotator, it's like the perfect
Yeah,
storm of views. If you could,
I think you just justified this expense for that purpose
Yeah.
right there.
I'll tell my wife, listen,
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay. Like I know we're not gonna make payroll this week, but we're getting this spinny tilt rotator thing. No one will give a shit about getting paid. If that. No, we have a
Yep.
bunch of stuff. A bunch of our equipment is coming off our books, like in terms of payments. So we might look at investing in some different. Like I'm not. All of our equipment's in really good shape. We take good care of it. We have Brad who services it always. Um, so I thought about maybe instead of buying more equipment, maybe just upgrading the big excavator we have to a tilt rotator. Because we do have like a big 30-ton float, so we could float all the attachments and all the shit, and it goes with
Yeah.
it.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, I got to send a separate truck to bring the attachments whenever we go out
With the,
with
yeah,
the
right.
8 ton. Yeah, or try
The
and just
bed of
put everything
attachments.
in the back of the tandem and then pick it out like barrel of monkeys shit. Like trying to get it all out of the back of the dump truck after.
Someone's
With
waving.
the project that we're on right now, we
Yeah.
have like both of our excavators with NCons out on there, and there's just attachments scattered all over the whole backyard.
All
It's
over the yard.
ridiculous.
Don't let them sit too long. You have to replace all the sod.
Do you
Right.
ever
Yeah. Oh, that's an already done deal.
do you ever look at all those attachments and be like, man, I could buy a fucking house?
Yeah.
Like,
Or a nice couple Lambos.
yeah, a couple. I've got a Lambo's worth of attachments on this job. Like,
Right. Yeah, literally.
how much is an attachment? I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I'm being
Well, it depends on what it is, but
say like
some
a
of them are.
I'll say like that for use of Chad's term, skeleton bucket.
The buckets are actually really cheap for some reason. All the
Yeah.
Encon buckets. I don't know about the other brands, but I want to say that thing was like maybe 15 or 1800 bucks, maybe
Seriously?
2 grand. I don't remember to be honest with you, but I think
I
it was something. It wasn't terrible. It was under $3,000. I'll guarantee you
so
that.
like my 8 ton has a swing bucket on it, and
Yeah,
when I acquired it, there was a debate about the value of it, and the guy I acquired it from was like, "No, no, that bucket's worth like 12 grand." I was like, "What are you like fucking nuts?" And then we called Kubota. They're like, "Yeah, these buckets are 12 grand." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, it's a bucket with two hoses on it. This is fucking crazy. Um,
yeah.
so I guess yeah. So but even if you have a bunch of that stuff sitting around, I could get what's like a grapple cost?
The grapples are expensive. They're like 10 grand at least. And then if you get the CMP ones, you're talking 15, 18, depending on what size, for like a 6 ton or 8 ton.
I spent 15
Pretty
on
expensive.
mine, and they sent it to me with a dog shit paint job. Like fucking
Really?
embarrassing. Like it was this teal green, and they rattle canned it black and then wrapped it right away. So it was like just the worst paint job you could ever imagine. And like
What?
they
From
dropped it.
CMP?
No, it's from some fucking European company or something.
Oh,
Del Hico or Dihico or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, um, it's fucking ridiculous.
Did
I'm
you
still
order
pissed off about it.
Did you order a broom, Chad?
No, it was $8,000.
Holy
for a
fuck!
broom. I'm like, holy shit, this is getting
Oh
a little out
yeah,
of
yeah.
touch, man. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, I feel like I know our money's not worth a lot up here, but I feel like that's a little excessive. Like,
That's a lot of money for a
yeah,
broom.
Did the
yeah.
broom do anything? Or well, have
No,
you?
just it wasn't even like a rotary broom or anything. It was just like regular push broom.
But have you seen that video? And if it's one of your videos, Jeremy, don't like. I forgot. Don't again. But there's a video of a guy, and he has like an old skid steer track, and he's using it as a broom, and it works sick.
Like a squeegee.
Yeah, it works
Yeah,
sick. Like it's
I think I have a video doing that in our parking lot. I just grab it with a grapple, like
Yes.
an old
Yep.
Bobcat track, and then just it cleans up mud really nice off a blacktop.
Yeah, it was sick. It was working amazing. And then I thought of you. I thought of that, Chad, when you were doing that street job in the fall, and you had the grade beam and stuff and the soil. I was like, man, he needs that rubber track to
Yeah.
just scrape all that shit into a pile and then scoop it. Like,
Yeah, we
because
could have used that.
then it wouldn't have fucked up. It won't fuck up the curb. It won't damage it. It won't. You won't get back charged for chips.
I don't
You know,
have any
brooms are
broken
handy.
tracks.
How could you not have
I
broken
think like what
tracks?
we did with the broom was bought like a forklift broom. Like we just Googled forklift brooms and bought one of
Okay.
those and just welded the bracket on it. And it
Oh,
was
that's
maybe $2 or $3 at the
the
most.
genius way to do it. Yeah. I'm getting on Amazon doing that tomorrow.
Yeah. It was like just Google like forklift brooms or something.
Forklift
Or
broom.
text me or something. I'll see if I can find the link.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be way better than $8,000.
Definitely wasn't $8 grand.
Maybe they're just taking me for a ride.
I have old Bobcat tracks in my yard I can't get rid of, so I'll just send them down to your yard.
Nice.
And you can start using them as fucking.
But I don't think you need more than one though.
I don't need either of them though.
Hmm.
So I feel like if you're gonna take them, you need to take both.
Are you gonna send those old tires as a package deal or what?
I have lots of old tires as well. That's fucking. Our whole sea can is full of fucking tires. We have more tires and rims and fucking. It's like a nightmare of. I don't know how we end up with so much shit, but sometimes I look around. I'm like, how did we get so much crap in 5 years?
I feel the same. I can't wait to move and purge all that stuff. Just get rid of all this stupid crap.
Well, it hasn't been snowing and stuff. We've been purging shit out of the sea can. Because I'm like, can we just like, why do we have this stuff? Like, it's just there's so much of it. I'm like, fucking throw it away. Like, I don't want it around anymore. Like, it's but yeah, it's amazing. Like sometimes I look around, I'm like, man, how do we get so like this is gonna be our 6th season, right? How do we get so much shit in 5 years? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Anyways.
It's crazy how it accumulates.
Mike, are you ready? You look exhausted.
I'm pretty tired. Is this the episode we announced the Chinese excavator giveaway?
Oh,
make it a little bit
up.
more reach with Jeremy here.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know, Jeremy, if you follow Mainstream Landscapes. He's the author.
Oh yeah, the guy that's trying to give away the Ditch Witch.
Yeah, and he's the author.
Did he give it away?
No, no, not yet. And he's the author, also the author of Broke to Balling. You might have read it.
He's an author too. Wow,
it's a short read.
It's a short read. Broke to Balling. It's on the. If you go to the Not Our Finest Hour Instagram page, it's one of our highly recommended books. Number 1 recommended book, Broke to Balling.
Paper Kings Book Club.
Paper Kings Book Club.
Is there a Heitman Academy book in there too?
Yeah, Heitman Academy.
Is he an author as well?
He's kind of fallen off the radar. So
maybe he's in jail now.
Oh,
yeah, that's true. So we decided that we've been inspired by the on again, off again, no date, not sure how many tickets are getting sold, raffle of the Ditch Witch by Mainstream Landscape. And Chad has graciously volunteered his last Chinese excavator for the first ever Not Our Finest Hour raffle. The thing about our raffle is you're a guaranteed winner. We guarantee that everyone who enters this raffle is a 100% winner. You will win. So we're going to run the raffle. Chad's going to be, he's willing to deliver the excavator, or maybe I'll deliver the excavator. Chad's supplying the excavator so graciously for the raffle. And basically what's going to happen is we are selling one ticket to the raffle for $8,500. So if you buy the one ticket, we will then be drawing for the excavator, and we guarantee whoever buys the ticket will win the excavator. It's a one ticket raffle, completely. And we're also not sure when the draw date is or when exactly it's going to happen. But if you send us the $8,500, we will send you the ticket. And then we will draw it eventually. But yeah, that's our new, we're announcing it here with you, full stop, that the Not Our Finest Hour Chinese excavator raffle is on. And there's no negotiating on the ticket. It's $8,500. It's a one ticket raffle, baby. So is that you're good, Mike? We've now announced the raffle while Jeremy was here. So
yeah, I'm happy now.
Okay, Mike's really wanted to get this.
Such a historic event.
Yeah. Now, someone might argue that it's really just kind of buying the excavator, but we don't think that. We like the thought of shipping out the ticket. We'll go live on YouTube. We'll turn the big wheel and we'll pull the ticket out and we'll award the excavator $8,500 a ticket, one ticket for sale. Whoever wants whoever wants to get in on the raffle, just contact Chad directly.
Yeah, be knocking down my door for that single ticket.
That single one ticket. It's similar to just buying the excavator, but different. It's a bit more snazzy. But anyways, thank you for being on, Jeremy. We greatly appreciate it.
Jeremy, where can our audience go?
Oh yeah, tell us where the audience.
J Squared Outdoor on Instagram is my handle.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
So feel free to follow.
You'll get one follower.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
Follow me?
This isn't like appearing with Andy or Caleb. So you'll probably pick up one or two.
I pick up one or two. Sweet.
Not the same as appearing with either of those two guys. All right, and that is the end of the episode.